Excellent. Good evening and welcome to the April 8th Pearl L. Crawford Memorial Library Board of Trustees meeting. It is 6:15 and I believe we can begin. Just as a reminder, the meeting will be recorded. If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Pat, thank you very much for getting the minutes out. I just want to check and make sure everyone's had a chance to review the minutes from our March meeting. And could I have a motion on said minutes?
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the minutes for the March 11, 2025 meeting as presented.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. Clark. And could I have a second on that, please?
Second. Okay. Second.
Second from Pat. Thank you so much. And any discussion? I think I did that wrong. We were supposed to all vote. Yes, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any nays? No nays? No abstentions? Wonderful. All right, thank you so much. So the meetings will be accepted, or the minutes will be accepted as written at this time. Our next point would be our director's report, please, Nicole.
Okay. So March was a busy month with meetings attended. I feel like that's what I did all month, was attend meetings. We had the CW Mars User Council meeting on the 11th. I did attend a director's roundtable meeting in Sturbridge on March 10th. We had a library friends meeting that day also, and also attended the Board of Selectmen quarterly update for the town of Dudley. So those, March 10th was a big day. The 12th, I met with Kate Merlin from the MBLC and a few other directors. It was an open discussion, just to ask questions, getting ready for budgeting season, state aid, ARIS reports. Unbelievable, but that it's that time again, that time of the year again to start talking about that. We had the town of Dudley department head meeting at the library on the 18th.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
How'd that
that
go?
was nice. It was nice. It was a good meeting. It was nice to be in the building and show off the building.
Nice to get, I'm sure the staff minded getting out of here.
No, so it was just department heads. So we were in the Fells room, everyone from town hall and the fire chief.
Oh,
Merrick wasn't there. He had something else going on. But they were at the library for our department head meeting.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's what
so
I
it was
mean.
nice,
just
yeah.
getting
Use
out
that
of
space.
Oh,
different
I'm sorry. I thought you meant the
getting there.
staff getting out of there.
Different,
Sorry.
Yeah.
I also had the Board of Selectmen financial joint meeting on the 24th, which was to talk about our budget for FY26. And then we rounded off the month with a Collect Connect website training with the MBLC, which is really cool. So when we do our ARIS reporting and our state reporting, they compile those massive amounts of data, and they've dropped it into Collect Connect. So now I can go in and compare us to other libraries.
Oh,
I can
nice.
do it by population, by size, by tax, I mean, there's just,
that's
the
nice.
possibilities are endless. It was really interesting. It's a great tool. So one of the libraries that we always get compared to is Leicester. Our population size, median income, everything is very similar.
Yep.
And I was able to reach out to Suzanne and be like, walk me through your budget. How are you running a library off of a budget, that's a lot smaller than ours? And, they don't have any of their utilities built into the budget. That comes out of the town. That affects your 16% materials requirement. It lowers that number. Maintenance is not in her budget. Maintenance is in our budget. So when we talk about libraries really being different, they all handle their financials differently. So it was interesting to be able to have that conversation with Suzanne. So we had our first of 3 school visits on March 28th. Thank you for letting us open late. It was much appreciated. we would not have been able to serve the public. There were a lot of kids in the building, and it was so much fun. Most of the class, that being third graders, had a public library card, but when I ran the numbers to see how many cards we registered for February 1st, which is when we started making the cards to be ready for the school visit, and March 21st, there were 90 cards made. And I thought it was really interesting that the juvenile cards were actually on the lower side. It was the adult cards that went up. So that's a good indication that the students are being served by the public library, that they really already do have library cards. So I
And
loved
while
it.
we're talking about library cards, I don't mean to interrupt,
Yeah.
but Thompson charges $30 or $35 for an
Out of
out-of-state
state,
card.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, especially Connecticut being so
That's
close.
so, Thompson is, yeah.
Yeah, so they don't pay mass taxes, and the taxes are what pays or funds the library, so it makes sense. And especially even take it one step forward, think about people using mass library cards that are accessing digital content,
Yeah.
you know, so.
Well, I
It's
went to New
interesting.
York 2 weekends ago, and I got my New York library card.
That's so
Oh,
cool.
did you?
I wasn't charged a fee. It's only good, it's a temporary card, it's only
Yeah.
good for so many months. But my husband got it last fall when we went. He got one and he needed to go back to so I was like, yep, that was our first stop when we went to New
That's
York, was to
awesome.
get library cards. But
That's-
there was
Yeah.
no fee.
No, that's so
And we
cool.
we're out of state,
Right.
so.
So
That
we
was
do not
interesting.
charge a fee to Connecticut.
Is that peculiar to that municipality, or is that statewide in New York?
I didn't ask that question.
Okay,
I just went in and asked, can I get a New
Yeah.
York library? Yep, so I gave my ID and had it.
how about that?
And you're in the city.
Yeah, Manhattan, yeah.
I noticed that we got 6 young adults cards. It's an encouraging number.
Yeah, I think the visits to the high school help, you know.
And you've been a couple of times
Right.
on different things, so now you're part of the groove, if you will.
Yeah.
And what do you classify young adult for a library card? What's the age?
It's up to 17, so I think it's 13 to 17 if memory serves correct.
Good.
Fantastic.
So we did receive some feedback that I wanted to share with you guys, because Kathy worked really hard with the school visits. Like I said, this is one of 3. We have our next one Friday. A note from the teacher was, thank you so much for arranging such a fantastic event at the library. The kids were so surprised to have an animal show and could not stop talking about it. I had to share a couple comments that my students made when we chatted about the trip. The prompt from our morning meeting was, tell me about something that surprised you. One student said she was surprised by how much the library prepared for us and all the efforts they put into our visit. Another student commented how clean and organized the library is.
That's a 3rd grader?
As a 3rd grader.
That's an interesting observation from a
Those are
3rd
good
grader.
prompts. And then finally, many students commented that they were surprised to have an animal show at the library. They appreciate all the time and effort we put into making this trip so fruitful for all the students. Truly hope this sparks interest and that they all return to see that what the library has to offer. You guys are the best. We're so lucky to have you in our town. I hope we can arrange another trip next year, and then the teachers, changing grades. But so moving forward, that worked really well. Like, we don't want to have the same experience for the kids every year. So the first grades will get the tour of the building and get their library card. The second graders this Friday are going to be doing stations, so the kits that we have in the library. And then the 3rd graders will get a quick checkout and then a special show. So this year we did the animal adventures, and it was fantastic. They did 2 back-to-back shows for us, and it was a nice way to end the trip.
Wow.
Yeah, so thank you, Kathy and team. Facility, the children's room, the upholstery is all done and complete. It looks fantastic. Jean, I brought some pictures if you want to see it afterwards, but you should come see it in person. It looks so good.
I will.
If I may,
Yes.
who was it that did this? Just a little shout out for a local business?
I think it's Dave's Upholstery, and it's in Connecticut. I think you have the invoice right on the top of that pile. I believe that's,
Just
if
across the
memory
line in
serves me
Thompson?
correct. They did such a good job.
Upholstery, 470 Riverside Drive, North Grosvenor, Connecticut.
Well, that's a little shout out to them.
Upholstery companies are hard
To
to
find.
find.
Yes,
And
It's a-
he did a great job. They look
Right.
wonderful. So that's nice.
Right, it's
that
Dave's
that's
Upholstery
close.
at Dumas Decorating Center.
okay. Yep, yep. Well, thank them, they did a good, admirable
it
job,
really
and
is.
obviously,
Excellent job.
things came together well, the ability to take some and not everything at the same
Yep.
time
Yeah.
worked definitely to our advantage.
Local is great, for sure, for sure. We did work on getting a quote from the library store. I'm concerned that in the children's room, there's that new book section, that nook when you first walk into the right. It's really poorly lit, and we're trying to highlight the new collection. The library store makes specialty lighting specifically for libraries, and it's that downcast lighting. So I did get a quote from them. We do have quite a bit of money left in state aid, and I think it would be a nice way to kind of finish that room off.
How many quotes did you get?
Just the one. This is part of the MHEC contract, so it's contract pricing. It is a specialty lighting, so it's not, you can't go to a lot of
Is this on the
different.
wall it'll be put, or on the shelves?
It's actually right in the alcove, and the lighting attaches to the top of the shelves, and it
Yeah.
faces
Comes
down.
It's kind of like a cave in there.
It's, yeah, and we have like a little lamp that's hanging over, and we have uplight that doesn't light anything but up.
So it's for 9 lamps, it's really just, it's for 9 lamps?
It's for 9 lamps, so they look like, the product is called Luca Light, and it's made specifically for the library shelving, the library shelving.
It's quite costly.
It is, it is, I actually, and it's kind of funny because I was a little taken aback when I saw the quote, but I have a quote here from 2015 where they did the same lighting for the adults section.
Yep.
And it's the same exact price.
What is
So-
the
Oh, wow.
same exact price? What is that number?
Do you want the number? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I
Okay.
did.
$4,100 for the lights, freight's $306, and installation and assembly is $700. So it's $5,100 for the lights.
For 9 lights.
Special lights.
It's
I know,
1, 2,
but
3,
it just, it
4,
hurts,
5,
like,
6,
months
It does.
9
Lights.
lights.
Yeah. It's a lot.
I just wonder about, like,
It's a lot. It's, I mean, if you
I,
want,
I feel uncomfortable only getting 1 quote, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I don't do 1 quote for things I do at home.
I know, I think the thing is it's specialty lighting, it's library lighting, so I don't have a lot of choices of where I can't go to Amazon and
Yeah.
get lighting.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. I was tossing around the idea of like doing ceiling lighting. I mean, those are the high parts of the ceilings, then we would have obstruction, you know, you have things hanging, you still have to get an electrician. I can definitely, I mean, it being contract pricing, it's the best price that we're going to get.
I think it's interesting that 10 years after the last batch of pricing you have, the
What is
prices
that?
are the
What
same.
was the one
Yeah.
from 15 years ago? Or what do you said 2015 or
Yeah.
whatever?
And I wish that they had done it then, but they didn't.
What's town policy?
What's the what?
Is there a trigger in terms of a dollar amount for
10,000?
10,000 for 3 bids?
Mm-hmm.
So anything under that, 1 is acceptable?
That's what the policy is?
Yeah, it's 10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I think it might be of some value to see what some other number might look like.
Well, this is including shelving and stuff. This isn't just lighting.
No, but if you look at the per piece lighting price, it's the same. It's $676. What is the per piece lighting on that?
630.
Okay, so it's about the same. It's not even
Yeah.
10%.
yeah,
And it is, it's shockingly high, so.
That's a lot for 9 lights. Wow. I just worry about us using funding for things that I'm concerned about funding.
Well,
I-
it
But
is
is
a
it
Concerned
concern.
about grants, I'm concerned,
Yeah.
there's just a lot of concern about money.
So I guess my question would be is, would this money come out of one of the buckets, for lack of a better word, that you use it or you lose it?
No.
No.
Okay.
Comes
No.
from state aid.
I would think we could either take it out of the gift account, but I was thinking state aid. We still have a lot of money, and if you look at the budget sheet, we have a lot of money in state aid. We just got our second payment for FY '25, and the FY '26 cherry sheet is out, I believe, already
Oh, wow.
for, yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, we definitely want to be aware of what we have.
Yeah.
Are you looking for approval in terms of a motion for this tonight? Is that the intent? Because I'm kind of, I think I'm kind of in line with Joyce just a bit on this in terms of maybe just finding another number to see it. And again, that they are lights.
To see if it's
I know
higher.
these guys have a special niche in terms of the industry, the business, if you will, but there are a number of electrical contractors, I would think, that could put up either similar lights or even the same lights. I don't know if this is proprietary as far as the materials that these guys are using or not, but if there were another number, just to see what the
And
comparison might be.
I wonder about, like, if you just ordered the lights, could they be installed by someone else? Like, I don't know that.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely could. I could hire an electrician to come in. Neil Piasta could come in and install the lights.
I have no
Yeah.
idea. I'm
Definitely,
just-
I mean, it's the power's there, the outlet's there.
Yeah.
Already. There's power to that spot. I can't say if it would be more expensive or cheaper to have him do it.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
Yeah,
I don't
maybe the
know.
same.
I don't
What's the
know.
installation price on
Yeah. And I mean, and, you know, the freight's expensive too.
Well-
I did look them up online. I mean.
Where are they located?
Tucker's out of New Hampshire, but the light source company, you can't order direct. Like, you have to be part of like Boston Lighting or, you know, they're a specialty.
Yeah, well, actually, if we hired, if you look for them someplace else, they may get them.
From there.
From them anyway, right.
And they don't
Now, who is
charge.
the town's chief procurement officer is the town administrator, right?
I think so. I believe so.
I'd like to check with him to see if he had any suggestions in terms of any alternative sources, or possibility of whether, whether he sees that as reasonable, given the experience they've had perhaps in other town buildings. Again, that seems like
So what
I
is
don't
it?
have a number
I'll tell
per
you,
light,
Richard,
but.
I was looking just for a lamp, and I was astonished at the
Oh,
pricing.
I'm not doubting that, I just,
This.
But we don't have to make a motion for this because this is under Nicole's purview to make these purchases. But I see your point about thinking that maybe a second quote would be in order.
Did it go underneath there?
Just to make sure that everything, like the numbers are copacetic.
in the private sector, I think typically everybody got three bids, you always look at three bids, so it was just a rule of thumb, and lived and died with that, but it may come back to these guys anyway.
Well, by the time I pull the trigger, it might be more expensive.
Well, I don't know, you're telling us they've holding pricing for 9 years or so.
It all
Well,
comes,
that-
yeah,
yes,
it all
but the
comes-
tariffs,
Look at the drawing.
depending on
Well,
where they're,
depending on
where
the
they're
source of
supplied
the
from.
material,
yeah.
yeah.
Plug into that.
Chances
No,
are
I
it
know,
is
but I'm looking for a
imported.
price for the lights. What are the price for the lights
50%.
specific?
4134.
I think I was just gonna say, I think you're on the microphone, but now you're not.
Sorry.
That was the paper.
Sorry.
So it's just shy of $500 a light for 9 lights. That hurts.
It does, but we don't know what kind of lights they are. We're not electricians, so I guess
Are they-
it merits possibly as a second look for another one.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to get another estimate, I don't think.
Okay, I
mean-
can definitely do that. I think it's gonna be pretty close to what we have, but I will certainly look. I think it would complete that room. I don't think we would be sorry for adding more lighting.
No,
No.
I think the
No,
idea
not
is a
at
good
all.
one, it's just a matter of how we get there.
Right.
I think we've had some concerns or questions up there.
Yep. I will put that on my list.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. The FY '26 budget proposal was presented to the Finance Committee on 3/10 after all the budgets have been submitted and reviewed and a benefit analysis is complete. The town administrator will make the final recommendation for additional library staff. I have not heard back from Mr. Luda yet, but he's still completing the budget, so I anticipate having a better answer for you guys in the upcoming weeks.
You said last night was the end of the presentations?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. And then we have a ton of programming coming up. I know that we talked a lot last month about April, but we have school vacation. The best way to see all of our upcoming program is to either follow us on Facebook, check our event calendar. We have signs up in the library. But we do have the spring egg hunt this week. We have the Friends of the Library book sale coming up on April 18th. That will be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. In May, we have the musical trio of Jump and Juba, which is a rock blues band that is a cultural council grant. So we're excited for that, May 1st, Thursday at 6. We are having our Beatrix Potter, the Naturalist in Her World presentation. That is a Thursday afternoon, 5/8 at 1 o'clock. Jean Walker will be back in May to do a decoupage painting class at 6 o'clock. That one's registration required. We are also having NASA's Sphere X mission and all ages astronomy talk on Saturday, May 17th at 11. So that's going to be exciting. She's also going to do a demo on how to use the library telescope, the telescope that you can borrow. So
Oh,
that's going to be
nice.
cool. The 22nd, we have the basics of beekeeping at 6 o'clock.
Who's doing that?
John Headley. So last year we had him on a Saturday, so we're gonna try a Thursday night and see. I'm getting some feedback from people that they, some of the day programs like the crafting, they would like to see at night. It's something that we would love to offer. We're trying to continue to move times and dates around. It's more of a staffing.
Is that gentleman for the bees, is that the gentleman from Oxford?
I don't know if he lives in Oxford or not. He's Worcester.
Do you know what I'm
yeah.
talking about, the
Yeah,
four
but-
corners?
Yeah, he works for the Worcester beekeepers.
The
Yeah.
Worcester Beekeeping Society.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. In June, we are starting a genealogy series. We're going to have one a month in the evenings at 6 o'clock. The first one's going to be Introduction to Genealogy. We're going to see how that goes.
Who's doing that?
We have,
So it's once a month?
it's going to be once a month.
Oh,
She's going to
cool.
present a different subject matter every month. I don't have the flyer with me.
Yep.
It's all details are on the website.
Yep.
And then the last program that I included was Saturday, June 14th, the History and Emancipation of Juneteenth with Christopher Daly, the historian. He's been to the library many, many times. He's excellent if you haven't seen him. He's going to be with us at 11 a.m. on the 14th of June.
14th of June, is that flying day?
Yeah, it is.
Every year.
No, that's why I was like, that's flying day.
So numbers to the door are still really good. I keep going back, and I know I keep telling you guys this, I have to just like stick with the number that I know is correct through the front doors. I'm still watching the gate count, the gate. So we're doing well. We're right where we need to be. The circulation statistics for March were really good. They were up 29% for the month, year over year. Adults are up, children's books are up.
That's great.
Digital content was also up 16.1% for the month. And then I just threw in some different statistics for you. This month, I wanted to look at the social media impact. March 24 versus 25. Facebook users are up 10.8%. Instagram users are up 95.21%.
Is that because Instagram is new for us to be using it?
I think it was not being used a lot.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, but, so Deb is really working on growing that
Yep.
along with Facebook, but when we went to the high school, kids don't use Facebook, teens don't use Facebook, they want to use Instagram, so that's where we picked up a lot of followers, so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We only lost, I don't know, maybe 25 or 30 of them, so it was good, because, you know,
Oh.
or maybe our content isn't, you know, it's very general, so.
So you lost them? I'm just
Well,
surprised that they just didn't.
Well,
leave it.
because they wanted the swag, so they sign up, they go, yeah, we'll follow you on Instagram, and then they're like, oh, we're following the library, unfollow. But not all of them did it. Gotta know your audience, you know?
Right.
But that's okay, you can't win them all.
It's not really that bad.
No, it's actually, the retention's pretty good, so we're happy about that. You can't laugh at yourself, right? Wireless and computer usage, something we don't talk a lot about, but I do track it for our state reports. Our wireless usage is up year over year, 13%. That means that people are in the building using the wireless. And the computer usage is up, so I only gave you this month for March of 25, but March of 24, the computer use is about level. The children's has gone way down, which is actually good. And the YA usage has gone way up. So March of 24, we had 11 uses of the teen computers. March of 25, we had 76 uses.
And are all our computers changed now?
Not the YA ones yet, those will be
Okay.
done,
And that's where it's gone down?
That's where it's gone up.
Oh, it's
way
gone,
up.
oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting, wow.
Yeah, and it's gone down in the children's room, which is good because we don't, I mean, I personally would rather see the kids playing than using
Yes.
the
Yeah.
computers at the library. They're not writing papers, they're playing.
You got a
so-
lot of really young kids, at least what I observed this week anyway, so the likelihood of them being on a computer is a little scary.
Yeah, yeah,
They know how to operate it better than we do.
they
Oh,
sure,
they probably do.
they sure do, they
Kind of
sure
slayed
do.
when I see them out to dinner
Oh,
with their
throwing those diapers
iPhone
on
in
the
hand.
tablet. Or the
Or the
tablet.
tablets, yeah.
We do.
The hotspots are still going strong. We did purchase some more. I was going for a total of 10. Right now, we have 8 that are active. 2 are actively lost. So once, I know, it's upsetting. You hope that one day that they come back. But they're being used consistently.
They've been lost for quite a while, haven't they?
No, the ones that were lost before, I've already replaced once, yeah. So we added another 5
Oh, I
to
thought
the,
it was 4.
1, 2, 3, well, so we had 2 missing, so we had 6, 4, 8, yeah. So we did, or add another 5. Those are specifically for Dudley patrons only, and they stay in the drawer like that, you know, so we have something available, which is good.
And once they're lost.
Yes.
They're locked.
They are locked. People can't do anything with them. They're
Right.
not any good anymore.
Yeah.
But if they did come back, I could reactivate them and
Oh,
it wouldn't
yeah.
cost us anything, which is
Right.
nice.
Yeah.
We can replace the device. I just don't like to do that because it's very costly in the
Oh,
end
yeah.
if you're continuing to turn them
Right,
over
right.
all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah,
So.
Yep.
So the programming, I think I gave you guys the youth services report
Yes.
attached to ours. Like I said, Kathy's doing an outstanding job. The children's room is very, very busy. She has kids doing scavenger hunts, take-home crafts, 1,000 books before kindergarten. We still have to see a lot of people signing up for that. But if you look at the bottom of her report, there's a nice graph. These are children's programming and how many kids we have participating in the programming consistently. So
That's
you can
really
see that the
nice.
trend
Yeah.
is really good. The room is nice and busy. We're a little nervous for summer reading this year, we're not gonna lie.
Because of so many kids.
Because there's so many people. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you doing it for adults and young
Of course,
adults again?
yeah.
I-
Yep, we're working
I
on
thought
the-
that was a great idea.
Yeah, we're working on the flyers now. We're starting to see some donations come in, which is great. The flyers are done. We want to have the flyers completely done for the first grade visit that's happening in May so we can send them home with their swag bag. We're going to send them home with their first summer reading ticket to entice them to come back
Oh,
and sign up
yes.
for summer reading.
What's the slogan for this year's program?
Level up at your library.
Mhm.
So, yep. All right, and does anybody have any questions about anything in the report?
There were some things that you said you were in the process of moving around. You mentioned it earlier in this discussion. What, besides the craft projects, moving them to the evenings, what are some other things that you're contemplating moving around? Because I feel like the attendance numbers for these things look really good. There's a couple that are low, but I'm just wondering if there's anything that you've kind of put your finger on.
So, I think it's hard. I think adults are looking for that crafting piece, and I would love to have Lena be doing a crafting at night. She just doesn't work nights. So that's tough. I mean, the movies are something that Deb and I are revisiting again. We do get, I mean, today we had 3 people. You don't want to take it away if we even get one person coming. It's not difficult, but maybe doing in the summertime a nighttime movie in the Fells room. Again, it's hard because we only have that one programming room, so we can't do anything
Right.
consistently. We like to have the adult programs on Thursday nights, so we're always looking for, suggestions from people. We did put up the suggestion box. We didn't get a lot of feedback, but
But you might have more people coming in with the book sale.
yeah.
In a couple of weeks. The other thing too is that the craft place that is just as you go over the French River into Webster, something in boards.
Oh,
Yeah.
burlap.
Burlap and boards, they're closing.
Yeah, they are.
which I'm kind of sad about, but maybe, you know, maybe if we offered something, like we could find the people who were going there, you know, once a quarter or what have you. Just a thought.
Yeah,
Do you have
definitely.
a budget for that at all?
The
Or
budget's-
would you be able to support a budget for that?
Yeah, definitely.
You could
I
bring
think that's
somebody
great
in.
use of the Crawford money. The problem is the staffing,
It's the space,
honestly.
yeah.
You
it's
know, like,
You only have that one large room.
yeah.
Is
Right,
that
but I
where you
mean,
show
br-
movies?
That's where
In
we
the
showed a movie in
Fells?
the Fells room, yeah. And we'll do them in the local history room as a backup if somebody needs to use the Fells room.
Yeah.
It's just having the staff member to be able to be there and facilitate the programs, you know?
Yeah.
Well, what about if you paid for somebody to come in and do a program?
Yep, we definitely do that.
You still have to put a staff member in there with them, correct?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
they can run them independently. It's pulling them into the calendar and then having the room available and doing the marketing and making sure that the programs are full, because we don't want to be paying for programs that aren't full, that type of thing. And just being aware of, you know, being frugal about how we're choosing to spend our money, you know, so. Yeah, we would love to do more. I think what we're gonna do for our summer art program this summer for community art is do kites with Lisa Crutchman. And then hang them in the library, we'll see, from the ceiling. We have that wonderful lift. I know, I get so excited about things like that. I mean,
Me too.
Has the fire department ever come in and said, like, what standards are, and can you have things hanging?
they have
'Cause I know in
not.
the schools, they really have cracked down on how much stuff can be hanging because
Yeah.
of the fire hazard.
I definitely will ask the chief about it. I think
Yeah.
because we have full fire suppression, I can't imagine that it would be a problem, but I definitely will ask him. Yeah,
Because the
that's a
schools
good
have
point.
it too. I
Yeah.
just know that, I used to
Yeah.
love walking into the schools when my kids were little and they'd have all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, over like a year or two, it just all of a sudden, it's like, oh, it's a
Yeah.
fire hazard.
I know,
And even at my
everything.
job, we used to have things hanging and they told us we couldn't.
Take it down, yeah.
Yeah, so. I would love to see kites hanging.
Wouldn't it
That
be
would
fun? I
awesome.
know.
It would be
I know.
beautiful.
I don't know, it's probably gonna take me a day to hang them. They'll be like, get off of that lift. We're not gonna take them down again. But it'll be nice while they're there, so ask about.
When I was teaching, I one night climbed a 12-foot step ladder and got to the top of it, and we had suspended ceilings.
Oh.
And I just put my hand up, it was about midnight, and the ladder started to sway, and I was the
Oh,
only person in
no.
the building.
Oh, that's not good.
So when you say a lift, I'm like, oh, I have a little PTSD on that one.
Not a good
It's
idea.
nice and stable. It's nice and stable.
Fantastic. I'm loving the numbers. So
Oh, good.
that makes me so happy to see that. Oh, and the Pie Day was a big success. That's wonderful. So
Yeah,
Oh, I was in on that day. I got a pie.
good
nice.
for you.
Nice.
Is that one?
Did you get a pie? Richard didn't get a pie. Might have to relive
The
that.
pies for someone else.
Bad planning on my
There
part.
were only a few left.
Well, it seems like it's kind of Richard's thing. Nifty. Thank you so much, Nicole. I appreciate that. Any questions or further questions or comments? Wonderful. Did you want to go over the budget right now?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
So we're in a good spot for the budget. We're gonna try to spend every single penny. I think we're gonna
That's
get
the
there
goal.
this year. Like I said, for FY '26, Sarah's gonna help me move some of the accounts around, so the utilities are more grouped together. But we have enough in the utilities line to cover the phone bill, the copier. Anything now moving forward for building maintenance contracts will likely come out of the green grant. Knock on wood, we haven't had any issues. This was actually, I think this was the first
Oh, knock
month
on
since
wood.
I
Where is the
started
wood?
that I have not reported a repair, like literally, right? So.
Bernard, we have a yearly contract, or is it 3 years? How long is that?
It depends which one it is. Sometimes, like Renaud, I think renews yearly. I think Siemens, which is fire, will give me a 3-year projection. Everything for service contracts went up between 6 and 7% for FY '26. Every single one of them, and they are going to continue to do that every year. So,
7%.
yeah. But we're lucky because we have the solar credits for the electricity. That's super helpful. We shouldn't, knock on wood, have any major repairs for the HVAC system. This year, everything seems
True,
to
we
be
just
running.
brought it up to
you know.
speed.
Yep. we're almost done with gas for the,
Heating.
for the heating season.
Wonderful.
Yep, yep.
I have to say, it was snowing in West Dudley this morning.
I know.
And this
I
afternoon.
know.
This
Really?
afternoon as
Yeah.
well.
Again.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
About 10 o'clock this morning, we were getting snow on Airport Road.
It's that, those wild
April in New
swings,
England.
right?
Absolutely.
That was the one text that I got on vacation. It was, one of the girls was like, how do I turn on the chiller? And I was like, it's shut down for the season, so that's not gonna happen. I'm like, is it that hot in the building? You know, it's those wild temperature swings, you know, so.
Oh, absolutely. Awesome, this looks great. Any further questions or comments, folks? Okay. All right, the library director contract.
So, Mr. Ruda would like a 3-year contract for the library director starting July 1 of FY '26. I did ask to see a copy of an employment agreement. I don't have one in the office, so I do have one here. It just essentially outlines what you project the salary to be. So I believe that you have to have a meeting to negotiate with him for the rate.
Okay.
And then what my yearly increase will be based on my review. Meets expectations, maybe only gets a 2%, exceeds, maybe gets a 3%, that type of thing. All those things will have to be negotiated, but he would like that in place for July 1, which means that we probably,
You said 26, did you mean
FY
July?
'26.
Okay,
Yeah,
which
which
starts
is
then,
July
okay.
1, 2025,
Yep.
yep. Yep. So I did send out some salary information to you guys, so you had that on hand, comparing what other towns.
I don't think I received that.
Okay, I can get you a copy of that. And then, of course, the town has a classification compensation salary range also. You can have this copy. And anything else that you need me to get, I can get. I know that the last library director did have a 1-year contract that ended in 2022. Does anybody have that Word doc?
Yeah.
You
I'm
do?
sure- I'm
Good.
sure I do.
Okay, perfect.
All right, thank you.
Because 8 pages of typing.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, then it has to be reviewed by the attorney too.
Okay, okay.
Because they made changes. They made changes to the one in 22,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, or the one previous one, I know that, so I don't know if they'll make changes again. Yeah. so-
And I assume it has to be in line with other town employment
Well,
contracts?
I don't know, the library
No?
director is pretty much a different, always been a
Different
different
beast.
animal,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
And they don't think they have it, they don't really have a template. So everyone other than the town administrator, the town accountant, the treasurer collector's office, everyone's gonna be part of a union. So that the people that aren't part of a union,
Have a contract.
yeah, by default will have a contract, so.
Okay. All right, we'll work on getting that put together for you then.
Okay, thank you. If you need anything from me, let me know.
Absolutely. Thank you. Number 5. Yes,
Did I say that out loud?
you did. We won't tell
Dreaded
them.
what?
The dreaded Doge.
Yes.
So.
So
yep.
there's a lot of information going on right now about the closing of the IMLS and what that means for public libraries, and we're all kind of in the same boat, just watching and waiting. I think one of the best summaries that I saw was from Jeanette, who is CWMAR's executive director. I forwarded it to you guys so you could read it. Things that could potentially down the road affect our funding, like Commonwealth Catalog, so ComCat. If that's not fully funded, they have to pull that money from somewhere else, like overdrive fees.
Right.
Referring to this executive order 14238, that's one of the things that you
Yes,
forwarded.
yeah, 14238, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we're kind of in a holding pattern, and we're waiting to see how things are gonna shake out. I sent you guys a couple more links today from the MBLC put out a statement today. There was also an email from Nancy Hill, who is the director at the Hopkinton Public Library. She's also part of the CMLA, about how to advocate, write a letter to your congresspeople. This is our stance. We want libraries to be fully funded and supported. Tomorrow, I do have a meeting with Alyssa Hayden, who's a library advisory specialist from the Mass Board of Library Commissioners, so I'm going to try to find out more up-to-date information. I think everything is a wait and see. You know, as money is moved from one budget, how is that going to affect the state budget? And that's what we're waiting on right now. So if you want to do some advocacy, now is the time to do it. Definitely write letters to your congresspeople asking them to support public libraries. It's important.
There are examples.
Yep.
Actually, one library board, and I can't remember what town or city it was, but they actually, the board actually approved a proclamation to send to Congress advocating for funding for public libraries. I can send that to people too.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be great, thank
please.
you.
Please.
And again, with the events that we have upcoming, there should be more bodies coming through the front door. It would be really good to have, you know, notes of support and banners of support and what have you.
Yeah, and actually the speaker at the breakfast
Mm-hmm.
was saying how getting actual stories from people, and there was much more important than a rote, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually
letter.
have a whole website of information on how to advocate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was Rep Smola.
Small.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if it was a
I
rep or
know.
senator, I didn't want
Yeah.
to say, I was like, was it a senator or a rep? I couldn't remember.
And all of our love letters to the library were sent to John Marcy, so he could bring them to the State House. So that is good, but that was prior to everything that was happening. I don't think anybody anticipated
No.
this. So hopefully tomorrow I'll have some more up-to-date information. There's, when you log on to Libby, Overdrive, Comcat, they all have banner messages to people using the services. You know, please remember to support your libraries. You'll see the digital collections might get hit. You know, we share that with all the libraries in the region, and if that's not funded, you're gonna have longer wait times for your items. We, of course, will still be buying with our budget, but, we might not have as much money either if we're paying, you know, higher fees to the consortium. So
Right.
it's all that trickle down.
Yeah, and then Mass Board of Library Commissioners lost 13 of their 23 staff members.
Oh, my.
5 fully funded, and they were partially funded
Yep.
by federal funds. So whatever they do is gonna take a little more time.
Mm. Good heavens,
There's a lot of unknowns for sure.
right. I don't know if you wanted to see that, that was the collection of salaries and so forth. Maybe we
Oh,
can-
yes, I do have
Yeah.
a copy.
You do, okay. All right, so we'll keep our ear on that and keep our eyes open and see what we can see with that. At this time, any board member comments or observations?
It's National Library Week. Go to your library. Go to your local library.
Support your library.
Yeah,
Yep,
support the
support your
library,
library, yes.
send letters.
Absolutely.
Is your staff aware, well, obviously they're aware of what's going on. Have they expressed any
Concerns?
concerns, anxiety about what's happening?
No, I think they're feeling okay about it because it's still in the federal level and it hasn't
Yeah,
really
trickle down,
impacted
yeah.
us yet. And we're pretty lean,
Yeah.
you know, so no, not yet, but, you know, I definitely am here to talk to them about it if they have any questions.
one thought in terms of supporting the library. The town meeting is on the 19th of May. Show up, be there. Budget certainly will be a big part of that discussion that evening, and obviously the library is part of it. One thing that, I don't mean to find a black cloud in everything, but the one thing that is a little concerning is that the selectmen, and I think the town administrator, are on record as not looking to touch public safety. And those are the two big hits in terms of the town budget. And if you exclude them from any consideration as far as changes, you have to go down the list to what's left. And what's left, unfortunately, includes the library. And there's still some open issues with regards to some of the PFAS remediation, and I don't know that that's been resolved yet. There was a question raised at the selectmen's meeting last night, and I understood town administrator to say that Gentex was covering the cost or something, but I don't know how long that would be, because it's a shared
I was
responsibility.
gonna say they're doing, isn't it half?
Yeah, so, I mean, somehow something is being covered, but is that forever, or I doubt it, because I think, again, it's a shared responsibility, so that somewhere it falls back to the town. So there's still that issue, and they came up with an estimate in terms of putting a water line into Eagle Drive, and that was in excess of $14 million. And the positive that came out of that discussion was they could get a zero-interest loan, but still paying $14 million.
Yeah, you still have to fund that.
It's nice that you don't have to pay interest, but that's still, in terms of the town budget.
That's a big
That's
number.
odd.
Is that, and I believe the water and sewer.
Well, and then the
There's another
schools,
thing they've been discussing about a rate increase again.
This-
Seems like they just had
They
it.
did.
they're meeting
When was
this,
that? Because I was like, it seems, like, time goes by really fast.
It
well,
does.
they're
And I'm
meeting
like,
this
when did
week.
we just have it?
Is it this week? I believe they're gonna meet this week to set the rate. There's a public hearing. And the schools have also indicated that they're looking at a capital improvement plan for over 10 years. And they were estimating, again, in the $1 million, tens of millions of dollars, if you will. The newest school is apparently 25 years old. So all of the things that we've been subject to in terms of the infrastructure, the things that you plug in that are working now, after 25 years, maybe not so well. And then there's also a question in terms of some state mandates as far as, if you have to replace an oil burner, well, what do you replace it with? And there's just a lot coming up. Although this year seems to be, nobody's getting really crazy. They look at the FAA and the Board of Selectmen, there seems to be a level of, I don't know, calm, if you will. It's not as much angst rather as it has been in the past. So hopefully we'll get through this year. Knock on wood. But again, May 19th, town meeting.
May 19th or June 19th?
May.
May.
Yeah. Elections
The
in
election
June.
is in June.
All right. Thank you, Richard, for your insight. Anyone else have any thoughts or pearls to share?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Madam Chair, if it's appropriate, I'd make a motion to adjourn.
I feel it is appropriate, Mr. Clark. Could I have a second, please?
I second.
Excellent. Thank you, Joyce. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Oh, that always
Excellent.
passes.
It is 7:04. Thank you so much, and we will be back on May 13th, right here, 6:15 PM for our next meeting.